learned, something else I've learned while being an adult is the difference between being motivated and having discipline. But I feel like when we were in school, there wasn't really any inner drive. Well, for me at least, there wasn't any like inner drive to do things because I was like, well, I don't really want, like, genuinely want to learn about this single thing, so I was kind of like bleh about it. And then going into college, I was looking forward to it because I was like, oh well, I am going to be able to take classes on things I'm actually like interested in. You'd think that's what college is about, but in like undergrad and stuff, it's basically like high school because you have to do a bunch of like prerequisites and like core classes that have nothing to do with what you're actually interested in. You just have to do those things just to do them for some reason, and you're like, what? Why? What does this have to do with whatever field I want to go into? The point of me saying all this is I realize I don't have the drive or the motivation to do schoolwork that I'm not interested in, or like anything in that manner. And I think a part of it is I'm just not disciplined. I never learned the discipline to do things because when there's no motivation, are you going to always be like, oh, I'm not going to do this because I don't have the motivation to do it? Or are you going to do like, oh, even if I don't have the motivation to get up in the morning and brush my teeth, it's something I have taught myself to always do no matter how I'm feeling, and I'm going to do it anyway even though I don't really want to. And I think that's the big difference, not just like, oh, I feel like doing this, because that looks horrible, but I'll fix it, trust the process, but gotta do it because yes. And I feel like a big thing I was able to learn was just make it a habit, make it a routine. And if you don't make it a routine, you're not really going to do it. And motivation is, of course, it's a good feeling to be motivated to do something because it's like, oh, I actually want to do it, you know, rather than, oh, I feel forced to do it because of routine and all that jazz. But without making a routine, like without making waking up brushing your teeth a routine, are you gonna do it every day? Some days you're gonna be like, I don't feel like brushing my teeth, and you're not gonna brush your teeth, and then you're gonna have like nasty smelling breath the whole day. And even routines are hard to get into because it's hard to make new habits. And I feel like that's something that's like a parent kind of like mimicked across YouTube, and you hear it everywhere. You gotta be productive, you gotta make good habits, you gotta do this, and yada yada yada. That's easier said than done. It's hard to do, to break the mold and to change what you've known to do for years. It's hard to brush your teeth if you're not used to it, you know? It's hard to be like, oh, I'm gonna brush my teeth two times a day. It's like, oh, I fared fine without doing that. And same thing with, like, let's say skincare. If you never did it growing up, and then suddenly you're like, oh, well, I want to get into skincare, but I don't feel like doing a 10-minute routine at the end of the day or at the beginning of my day because it feels like a waste of time. And it's going to be hard to make that first step when you're not used to it. I want to journal more, but I don't have the discipline to do it on my own. I haven't made it a habit yet to do it, except for the times that I'm just like motivated to write a whole paragraph. But then I stop to think about it and I overthink and I'm like, I don't really want to do this, you know? And so I don't. And that's typically what happens on a normal day. But I feel like that kind of ties into like a lot of different things when you get older, and you want to, let's say, be independent, which is something I'm working on. And it's hard when you've never practiced doing that. And I'm kind of like in the middle between the whole thing because I want to be disciplined in things. I want to be able to sit down for like 2 hours and do my homework, or I want to work out for an hour a day, or I want to start going bike riding, or I want to start practicing my viola, or learning a new skill or something, like it's hard to sit down and do it when you have never made it a practice to do that, really. I don't know why I'm getting the hiccups, but it's the thing. It's the thing. We feel so ashamed for not being able to just pick up and be able to do whatever we put our mind to, because we feel like it should be just as easy as we say it is, you know, as easy as saying, oh, I'm gonna start doing this every day. Or when you do your New Year's resolution, oh, I want it to be as easy as that. Like, just, oh, I want to do this, suddenly I do it, you know? But most of the time it doesn't work out that way. And it's frustrating because you want it to, but without setting yourself up for success by creating the habit of you say you're gonna do it. Because every day is like, you lose every day. You're never gonna get a day back. And sadly, that's kind of how it is. If you are always pushing it off, I'm gonna do it later, I'm gonna do it later, I'm gonna do it tomorrow, I'm gonna start tomorrow, I'm gonna do it at this time. You can do that, but if you don't hold yourself accountable to, oh, I say I'm gonna do this, so I'm gonna stick to it, you're never gonna do it. And you're never gonna start. You're gonna make a bunch of excuses for yourself, and then in 5 years you're gonna look back, I should have started. I always really tried, but I never actually tried to start. And that's one of my biggest regrets, because I'm like, I would have really loved to have that as a skill and be able to be like, oh, this is something I really enjoy doing. And I never knew. And what if I didn't enjoy doing it? But I never went out and started doing it. And I could say all the time, oh, I just didn't have the time to do it, or I didn't have like the free time, I was always doing school or sports. With anything, you gotta make time. You make time if you really, really want to do it. It's an excuse, really, because you can find like 5 minutes, 30 minutes within the day. It doesn't have to be, oh, 1 hour all at once. It could be like, oh, I want to start working out, but I don't really have the time to go to the gym. You could do like 5 push-ups every now and then throughout the day, so that you stay active and you still do the goal of, oh, working out every day, but it might not be at a gym, or it might not be all at once. You make time throughout your day and throughout your schedule for all these things. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's like pilling up right here, and I'm getting frustrated. Real frustrated. Even me, I make excuses all the time for myself for why I don't start things. And I always say later, and I always frustrate the people around me because I'm like, oh, I'm gonna do later, and then they're like, when's later? But honestly speaking, that's a perfectly valid question. When is later? When are we going to stop using, oh, I'm gonna do it in the future as an excuse? You're making yourself used to accepting the excuse of, I'm going to say I'm gonna do this, but I'm not actually going to go through with it because I said later. And I don't want to do it anymore. I don't want to do it. If I don't feel like doing it, I'm not going to do it. And that goes right back to what I was saying earlier about motivation. You won't be able to do anything if you don't have the motivation to do it, but that's only if you make yourself used to only doing things when you're motivated. Then you beat yourself up over it, and you get like mentally tired and mentally beat up, and you just aren't nice to yourself. Because sometimes you have to understand where you're stretching yourself out too thin so you don't get burnt out on things. And it's all about finding that healthy balance, because you're gonna screw yourself over if you don't. It's not like I'm perfect. I don't really practice all these. I'm just saying these because I'm like thinking about it and I want to do it. So if I talk about it, it'll make more sense in my mind if I talk about it rather than just sitting on my butt, not doing anything, thinking about it and being like, well, that would be nice, but I don't have the time. Once again, making an excuse for myself, because I am notorious for making excuses for myself rather than just going out and doing it for myself, because you know what is the worst thing people can do to you? Unless I'm not saying like the extremes, but like all they can really say to you is, no, you can't do that. Everyone starts somewhere, even playing, like doing something you enjoy, like playing games. I love playing games. I love playing the game Valorant. So much fun. So much fun. But people will trash talk you if you do bad. It's just a thing. It's a thing, a part of the game. You have to deal with people talking negative to you. But are you really gonna let that stop you from enjoying a game you thoroughly enjoy? No. Same thing. You want to do all this. You want to be the best person you can be possibly. But do they really matter? Because it's like, if it's not you, if it's not someone who loves you, does their opinion really matter? No. Because at the end of the day, what they're saying is probably a reflection of themselves that they're projecting onto you, rather than like an actual observation that they do onto you. If you go out thinking, oh, people are gonna judge me for doing this and that, so I don't have the motivation to do this because someone's gonna judge me on it. But most of the time, people don't really care about what other people are doing. They're mostly worried about the same thing, actually, about, oh my god, people are gonna be looking at me, blah blah blah, and talking bad about me, and you're worried about that and using that as an excuse. But everyone's worried about the same thing, so no one really has the energy to be judging each other and thinking bad about each other. And most of the time, if you encounter someone that thinks bad of you, what good person would actually take their time to judge somebody like that? You know? So does their opinion matter? Because they're obviously not a good character if they're stopping and thinking about that. It's just a thought. I don't know what I'm doing. Honestly. I'm thinking of doing like a smudgy eyeliner, but I'm not good at smudgy eyeliners. That's my only gripe with this, with my little like plan of sorts. But you know what? I can try. Okay, so it took me for freaking ever, but I think I'm gonna just keep it like this. This one goes lower. Oh my god. Okay, so now I have to fix it again. But anyways, back to what I was talking about. While I use my eyebrow gel, I do firmly believe that I need better discipline. I have to actually commit to things and not back off halfway because I don't like the effort, or it's not gonna go at my own pace. Because realistically, while I would love to go at my own pace for everything, not everything can be at my own pace, and we can't control that. So we have to adapt, improvise. Is it like adapt, overcome, improvise? Something along those lines. My eyebrows look like crap. I'll leave it like that. My eyeliner looks bad. I'll leave it like that because I don't have the patience. And I don't think I'm gonna do lipstick because I'm hungry and I want to eat. I don't want to deal with lipstick, so I'll just put lip liner and call it a day. You know, I realize this video has been like all over the place, but you know what? It's okay. We all come here to have a good time. I realized I forgot to put mascara on. I didn't forget. You know what? I'm gonna put it. I didn't forget. I'm gonna put it on. I just haven't yet. Leave me alone. We'll leave it like that. We'll leave my lips like that. Do I like it? No. But am I gonna leave it like that because I'm gonna eat food and it's gonna come off anyway? Yeah. What am I talking about? I'm supposed to be talking about like motivation. Ah. But to kind of wrap up my final thoughts, I think that we just need to have less of a dependency on being motivated and more of trying to have better routines and better habits in order to be more productive and to do those goals you really want to do. It's something we all have to do, I feel like, in order to overcome it, especially if you procrastinate a whole ton like me. It's something that we have to bite the bullet on and just take that first step. It's the scariest step, but we gotta take it. Thank you for listening to me ramble on and on about random stuff. I'll see you guys next time.